Last, last time we spoke about different nouns, and I'm going to carry on from where I left, I believe. I spoke up to abstract noun. I'm going to recap a little bit and then we will move on. And by the way, happy holidays. So today's class talks about abstract nouns. So this noun talks about intangible, intangible mean untouchable or non-touchable concepts and ideas, things we cannot touch, hear, see, smell, and feel. So basically, we're talking about our five senses. So what it means is that we have to talk about examples of abstract nouns. So examples of abstract nouns could be love, time, beauty, and science. These are nouns that are abstract and we cannot touch, feel, or see them. So concrete, okay, them. So concrete noun. Then we're going to talk about concrete noun. A concrete noun is a noun that reflects on a physically tangible thing. It's divided into the following. Common noun, which are very common: book, we can touch it; pen, touch it, feel it; glass, um, glass, wall, etc. And proper noun, um, England, Shakespeare, and Brown. So these are proper nouns, and when we talk about proper nouns, we use a capital letter at the beginning of these nouns. When we talk about common nouns, we don't have to, and we don't use a capital letter at the beginning of these nouns. So note, I think this is what I choose, but note, proper nouns cannot start with an indefinite article. Indefinite articles are these two. Why we use indefinite articles? Well, indefinite articles are used when we talk about the individuality of one person or a person, thing, or place. Okay, so let's talk about their use. Okay, and usage. Okay. Okay, so we use a before any nouns that starts with a consonant. Consonant are those 21 letters out of 26 letters of alphabet. And the example says a kilo. Why we don't say an kilo? Because it doesn't make sense. So we use a before kilo because kilo starts or begins with a consonant. A kilo of rice. So we can just say an umbrella. Why we say an umbrella? Because umbrella begins with a U. U is part of that 5 letters of vowel. Let me just do this again. Vowel. So here we say a kilo of rice. Why we say a kilo? Because a kilo does not start with any of these letters. So kilo of rice, an umbrella. Why we say an umbrella? Because an umbrella begins with U. U is here. A monkey. Why we don't say an monkey? Because a monkey itself starts with M. And M is consonant. And an enormous building. Why we say enormous? Because enormous mean big or huge. It's an adjective and it starts with E. So E is part of vowel. That's why we use an. A boy. Why we don't say unboy? Because boy is a word or a name or a noun that starts with a consonant. And by the way, boy is a common name. Let's just put it here. Boy. Okay, an image. Why we say an image? Because I is at the beginning of the noun and image itself starts with I. That's why we use this. So no, some nouns, despite being unique, are not started with a capital letter, but instead we use the definite article. So let's go to the next part. Okay. This part talks about countable nouns. As we know, we have countable and non-countable nouns. Anything that we can count, we call them countable nouns. And anything we cannot count and we have to use adverbs of quantity to talk about their quantity, then that's called non-countable. So for example, I'll just give you example of Countable, for example, I think we have here the example. These are the nouns that we can count. For example, for the following, we use S at the very end of these. So if we have countable regular nouns, how about put it this way? Countable regular nouns. Countable regular nouns. These are nouns that are countable. We can count, and they end. And these are nouns that end in a consonant. And when we talk about their plural form, we just add S. We will further discuss this in a few minutes. So let's say these are nouns that we can count. For example, for the following, we use S when we are talking about their plural forms. Example, book. So book is a word, a noun, and it's a common noun. And when we talk about its plural form, it means we talk about more than one book. We only put S at the very end, like here, and then we put here, let's say a number. Let's say we can say 2 books. I need 2 books from that library. Well, let's say pen. Pen is a common noun too, and at the beginning we have P, at the very end we have N, and pen P itself is consonant, but we're not talking about the beginning. We talk about the end, and it's N. And when we talk about its plural form, we only add S. So 3 pens, horse, 3 horses, ended at E. Why are we using S? Because none of these words. Okay, why we use this? Okay, for the further example, we only use, and let me just do this. Okay, and why, and we add S because none of these nouns and this. Okay, so why we only put S? Because none of these nouns and ch, sh, or that. So that's the reason. So let's talk. Let's say work. Work. Okay, so these are suffix fixes. Okay, so let's say we talk about when we talk about a plural form here, as we can see the examples, we only put S at the very end of these nouns. Okay, so let's go. For now let's forget this. Okay, so let's go down here. However, if our nouns are regular and they end and ch, sh, x, z, s, their plural form take the suffix of yes. So that's where I explain suffix. Suffix is part of the word that we use at the beginning. At the very end of a word to change its meaning is called suffix. Anything that we put at the beginning of a word to change its meaning is called prefix. So pre means before. Okay? Pre means before. And suffix means added or after. Okay, so this is the meaning for that. So if we see here, we have our nouns ended in ch, sh, x, o, z, and s, and that's why when we talk about their plural form, we have to add es. Okay, suffix of es. Anything we put at the end of the noun, it's called es suffix. So for example, tomato, tomatoes. Tomato ends in o. Do we have o here? Yeah, we have o here. That's why when we talk about more than one tomato, we have to put es, tomatoes, okay? And then the next example, box, es, boxes. When we talk about its plural form, why we put es? Because it's ended in x. Do we have x here? Yes. Buzz, buzzes, okay? So if our noun are regular Their plural forms will take place by changing letters within their structure. Okay, now F. Okay, okay, let's say, okay, so here, okay, if our nouns are regular, we only put S on ES when we talk about their plural form. But if our nouns are irregular, then we don't put S and ES. The word or the noun itself will change its form differently. Okay, let me just do this here. Okay, so for example, so here we see irregular nouns. So for example, foot, 1 foot. If we talk about more than 1 foot, we can't say foots. We can say foots, that's apostrophe S or that's possessive adjective, that's different story. But when we talk about its plural form, we cannot put S or ES. We can't put S or ES here. Why? Because it's an irregular noun. So the double O becomes double E. Toot, teat. That's if you talk about one toot, it's toot. But if it's more than one toot, it's teat. Man, man is one man. But if you talk about more than one man, we put E instead of A, and then the pronunciation becomes man, woman, woman, and so on. So this was a regular form of our plural thing. So these are nouns that we cannot count. In order to count these nouns, we need to use, okay, adverb of quantity. Okay, so let's say uncountable, uncountable nouns. Okay, so these are nouns that we cannot count. What it means is that when we talk about their plural form, when we talk about their quantity, it means the number or the weight. So we have to use adverbs of quantity. Why? Because we cannot say a water. Well, in our daily life we may use, but let's say if I go to the store and say, look, I need a water. Even though I don't say that, but even if I say it, so the shopkeeper may know that I'm talking about a bottle of water. Okay, so that bottle is a verb of quantity here. So let's say here, adverb of quantity are those words that we use to give meaning and quantify our non-countable nouns. Okay, so that's the explanation for that. In order to count these nouns, we need to use numbers or articles plus adverbs of quantity. Examples: a kilo of rice. Why we say a kilo of rice? Because we cannot count rice. A jug of milk. We cannot count milk, so we have to use it. An article, and this jug is a noun. So a loaf of bread. We cannot say give me a bread. So we might be able in some part of the word to say give me a bread. Let's say give me a non. A non, that's a different story. But a bread, we have to use loaf. A flock, or herd of sheep. Now, a flock we use for a smaller number of sheep, and herd is used when we talk about a larger number of farmhouse sheep. So just keep in mind. You see, sheep we cannot count, so that's why we have to use either flock or that. So let's talk about collective noun. We use these nouns with plural subjects, nouns in our sentences. Examples: we, these are collective nouns, like we, they, Ali, and Jake, and you. These are collective. A collective noun is a noun that reflects a group of people, things, and we use them to reflect on more than one thing, person, or thing, or place. Maybe this is what I meant was. Okay, when we talk about collective noun, we talk about more than one person. So it could be a group, it could be me, for example, me and you. We're talking about we are hungry. So we talk about collective noun. They are smart. So, for example, Ali and Jacqueline, or maybe let's say Zabera and Zahir, and all those names. So let's talk about the rest of this. We use verbs in their present forms when we talk about these nouns. So when we talk about plural, we cannot say children learns. Why? Because children is a plural form of child. Okay, so that's another form that we say child is singular, and then children is more than one. Okay. Number two, soldiers need protective gears. So when we talk about soldiers, this is a noun that we only ended in R, and soldier mean one person. But when we put ES, when we put only S, we mean that we're talking about more than one soldier. So need protective clothes. So boys love ladies. Teachers, when we say teachers, we talk about more than one teacher. Taxi drivers carry, move people from one area to another. Okay, so let's go to compound nouns. First, we have to find, or we have to know the meaning of compound noun. It defines a compound noun as a noun, an adjective, or a verb made of two or more words or parts of words. So when we say compound, we talk about more than one. So it talks about collaboration of two nouns together, meaning one thing. So for example, this part is written as one or more words, or joined by a hyphen. Some people take a hyphen, some people hyphen, but the hyphen is correct form. So secret agent. So secret agent. This is a compound noun, and we have bonded them together by using a hyphen. So dark colored. We say a dark color SUV hit the guy. Classroom. Okay. Newsroom. Okay. These are combined with a hyphen. Bathroom are all compound nouns. So concrete and abstract nouns. So let's talk about concrete and abstract nouns. Um, let me just see. A concrete noun is a noun that reflects on a physically present or tangible thing. It is divided into the following: common noun, book. I think we did book, man, sheep. Proper noun, England, and these. Okay. I think we did this. Articles. We did the articles part. Okay. So let's talk about articles. There are the three different types of articles, and definite and indefinite. Three we say because it's a and an, and then we have definite article, which is the definite article is used to point out or talk about someone or something particular or specific. There are rules for the usage of both articles in our sentences and must be learned and or talked about. When we when we use definite articles, the nouns that are single do not start in a capital letter. So our definite articles act as adjectives, and when used in a sentence, they show that the reader knows about them. So when we use definite article with before a noun, um, the listener, the person in the other part of the party, other side of the party, knows that who we are talking about. For example, I'm talking to Zahir about books. I say, Zahid, yesterday I gave you three books. Can you give me the large one? Or can you give me the red one? Why we say this? Because Zahir already knows which books I'm talking about. So that's why we use they, okay, to specify the particular, okay? So the policeman was helping the man, okay? Um, so here you go. The example. Okay, the dog tried to stop the intruder. So when we say the policeman was helping the man, so if I'm talking to somebody else or a group of people, they know that which policeman I'm talking about. The dog tried to stop the intruder. So when we say, let's say, we talk about a story that there was an incident of intrusion in a different city. So we talking about it, or we heard something on TV about that incident. So when we say the dog tried to stop the intruder, we know that which dog and which intruder. The fan started as soon as the fuse was turned on or switched on. So when I say, okay, I talked to you guys, okay, my fan was broken. That's what we thought, but we didn't have any cold air in our room for, let's say, for 4 hours. But finally, when I decided to go and check the fuse, and as soon as I turned on the fuse or switch on the fuse, the fan started. So it means that which fan started? I'm talking about the fan that I have in our room or we have in our room. So this is what it says. Examples: the moon, the sky. Are these names start with D, and we use a lowercase for them. Indefinite articles, a and. These are nouns we use. These are articles we use to specify or to quantify, to point out about singular nouns. So are used when we talk about things and people that are in general in common, unlike definite articles. So a book is my okay. So what I'll do, I'll continue from this going on forward. So thank you for today's class, and please let me know if you want anything new. Take care, subscribe, and share.